Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolute secrets of usability and looking at how we can turn totally frustrating designs into seamless, almost invisible user experiences. We interact with design every single day, right? When it works perfectly, we don't even notice it. We just get our stuff done. But when it fails, well, we definitely notice, and so does the bottom line.
Okay, picture this. It's a scenario we've all faced. It's Christmas Eve, the kids are finally asleep, and you are stepping into the shoes of Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Out come the tools, and instantly you're agonizing over these terrible dollhouse instructions. You've got 100 tiny plastic parts, text written by someone clearly from a land far, far away, and it's just utterly confusing. It's so sleep-depriving that you reach pure desperation, literally recruiting the 12-year-old neighbor just to finish the job before morning.
That agonizing dollhouse nightmare? It perfectly highlights our core topic today, usability. At its core, usability is all about how easily and effectively a person can use a document, website, or product to achieve their purpose. Basically, it determines whether your audience can actually use what you've created without pulling their hair out. Think about it. If a user can't figure out how to make a purchase or navigate your dashboard, they are not going to stick around to figure it out. They'll just bail, go to a competitor, and you lose out entirely.
So, here's our quick roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover the true cost of bad design, the 5 pillars of usability, the different types of testing, a step-by-step testing guide, and finally, why accessibility is absolutely not optional.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the cost of bad design.
Now, there is a really crucial distinction between two concepts that get confused all the time, utility and usability. A product might have perfect utility, meaning it physically contains all the specific features the user needs. It's kind of like a massive Swiss Army knife with 80 different tools. But if the usability is poor, say it's way too heavy to hold and impossible to find the right blade when you actually need it, users are just going to grab a regular screwdriver instead. Utility is having the tool. Usability is being able to comfortably and effectively swing it.
Think about the last time you tried to pay a bill online and just felt completely frustrated by a clunky interface. That exact feeling brings up a really dangerous yet super tempting question a lot of designers ask when deadlines are tight. They think, well, what if I just skip testing altogether?
Well, spoiler alert, skipping testing doesn't save you money. It just defers the cost with some massive interest. If you skip this step, you're going to pay the price later through giant mountains of customer support tickets and needing to provide extra training just to help people use your confusing system. You'll lose your competitive advantage as users flock to easier alternatives. You'll damage your brand's reputation, and you'll severely waste everyone's time, both your employees and your clients.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 5 pillars of usability. So, how do we actually know if a design is good? Well, Jakob Nielsen laid out these 5 gold standard rules. First, it has to be easy to learn right off the bat, so users can accomplish basic tasks quickly. Second, once they know the ropes, it has to be efficient to use. Third, if they leave and come back a week later, it needs to be memorable enough that they don't have to start from scratch. Fourth, it should be as error-free as possible to prevent mistakes. And fifth, the whole shebang just needs to be satisfying and pleasant to use.
All right, Section 3, types of usability testing. When it's time to test, you have a few options. First up is the traditional usability lab. Picture this, a highly controlled room with two-way mirrors, dedicated video cameras, and eye-tracking equipment. It gives you incredible, irrefutable data on exactly what the user is doing. But because of the massive overhead, it's also the most expensive and time-consuming route you can take. But hey, if you don't have that kind of budget, there is a highly effective alternative, testing without a lab, or what the industry sometimes calls discount usability. Jakob Nielsen points out that you literally just need a quiet conference room, a notepad, and a pen. You sit next to the participant and have them simply think aloud as they navigate. It's totally economically feasible, accessible for any team, and trust me, it uncovers a massive amount of actionable feedback.
And then there's field testing. This is where you go out into the wild. Instead of bringing the user to a sterile room, you go directly to their natural habitat. This lets you see exactly how they handle your interface amidst everyday, real-world distractions. We're talking background noise, glare on the screen, phone calls, or a barking dog in their home office.
Let's get into the how-to with Section 4, step-by-step usability testing.
Executing this testing comes down to a super simple 4-step playbook. First, make a plan. You've got to outline your scope, define your metrics, and get any necessary legal or IRB approvals. Second, you recruit real users.
Third, you run the actual scenarios and observe them in action. And lastly, interpret and record the data. You want to blend your qualitative observations with your quantitative metrics to build a really cohesive report.
Now, you might be wondering, how many people do I actually need to recruit for this? Believe it or not, the magic number is just 5. Testing with just 5 users will uncover about 85% of your major design flaws. Anything beyond that, and you start hitting diminishing returns. Now, if you need hard statistics to prove a point to stakeholders, sure, you'd want to scale up to at least 20. Oh, and a quick insider tip. While you normally compensate participants, legally, you cannot compensate federal employees. So keep that in mind.
When you're actually sitting there moderating the test, you've got 4 distinct techniques to figure out what the user is thinking. You can use concurrent think aloud to hear their raw thoughts in real time as they work, or retrospective think aloud to have them retrace their steps after the fact so you don't interrupt their flow. As the facilitator, you can also jump in with concurrent probing, asking direct questions the second they do something weird, or retrospective probing, where you save all your follow-up questions for a big debrief at the very end.
Which brings us to our final section. Number 5, accessibility is not optional.
Listen, as a technical communicator or designer, you have a strict legal and ethical duty to ensure your work complies with Section 508 of the Americans with Disabilities Act. You are guaranteeing that individuals with visual, auditory, or motor disabilities have the exact same access to your information as anyone else. This means presenting information through multiple channels, like making sure it works with screen readers or providing closed captions. Accessibility is not just a nice-to-have feature, it is a fundamental, non-negotiable requirement of doing business.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to wrap up our explainer today. Think about everything we just talked about, the 5 pillars, the testing, the sheer frustration of a bad design. If your next big project ignores accessibility, have you really achieved usability? If it doesn't work for everyone, it just simply isn't finished. So use these tools, test your work, and let's put an end to those frustrating Christmas Eve assembly disasters for good.